afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching from. Welcome, Nicole Jolly. We're here to introduce you to Messenger Bot for Restaurant. Nicole has been working on this for quite some time now, and she's here to give you details. And I've invited so many of you guys. If you're watching, I know you got my message, you got my 2 streams, and refer us to your restaurant owner. You get 45 minutes with me. That is huge, where I will audit your online and give you some tips and ideas what you can do. Nicole, over to you. Tell them, I'm super excited.
Wow, thank you. Thanks for having me. I love your opening video. That was really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I first thank you for having me and being here. I appreciate it very much, and it's amazing that you're doing all this for so many people. I think it's really, really cool what you're doing. Yeah, the restaurants definitely need the help, you know. Whoop.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they could definitely use some help. That I know that I don't know if your restaurant's opened up yet, but the restaurants here in Austin have just opened up on Friday.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so they're just reopening now. But what I see is a lot of with the restaurant owners, it's not easy to show them really what could benefit them in the long run. They've been, they always get hit with so many offers, but I am going to show you guys what we've built. And there are a couple of different things right now out on the market that some white label stuff that's happening. And what I'm seeing is that, the variations in theme and pricing are directly correlated with the expertise of the person who's selling it. So I'm seeing that. I believe, having something that is able to sell for you on Facebook using your page is going to be very helpful. What I am seeing also are third-party APIs, which are application interfaces using the third-party apps that are on the left side of the screen on your Facebook page that are actually, you can see them on your tablet and you can also see them on your desktop, but you can't use third-party on your phone unless you have like a ref URL link. So I can show you some of those as well. But for right now, what I'll show you is, and I'll just actually share my screen with you and show you this. Let me just go here. Let me see about that and show you my screen. And let me see here. Where am I? I just had it up, and now now I don't have it. Okay.
Yeah, just share screen, and I'll bring you in.
Okay. What did you want me to share with everybody? You want me to just share the bots that we build? Is that something that's okay to share?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just click share and I'll pull you in. Okay, there you are.
Okay.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to share here is this was a case study that we did about a year ago, and we used what they call a geo-targeting advertising type of way to reach the audience. But the real way that we reached the audience was through engagement, and the engagement was specifically for a special offer. And so one of the things that I'm noticing a lot is that people get onto Facebook and they think that just because they're on there, they're going to make money. but it really is about the customer journey and the offer. And so this was all about a customer journey that was a pre-sell into a waiting list, into a really awesome offer that got distributed through a wallet on your phone using a messenger bot. And so let me walk you through how that worked. The phase one part of this, and we call it the IRS, the Intelligent Routing System, because it's intelligent the way that it works, in the way that the customer and the client really want to work with you. So this one started with a Facebook ad. It can start with a post, or it can start with, a link on your website, anything. And then once they click onto that link, they get right into a chat bot. So what we did with this particular client was we but we gave them a lot of different ideas. And when we did that, we said, why don't you use, comments on your posts, like have them comment, I want food, or I want this, or 50% off, or whatever it was, right? So they commented, and they were able to get what we call a comment growth tool through a very simple post. So basically, you put a post out and you say, comment below with the word food, for example, and and your customer comments with the word food, and it immediately sends them into a chatbot opt-in, and then it has the conversation. And then we integrate that with email, and then we integrate it with a mobile wallet. And all of this is third party built on top of Facebook's API using ManyChat. And then once that happens, the wallet sends reminders, and the reminders have different offers on them, depending upon point-based, which is what we did. We did a point-based offer. So the more points they got for sharing, for tagging, for reviewing, the more offers they got, like a free bottle of wine, or free 2-for-1 steaks, or whatever. And then we do a banner push. So we did this banner push where, just like you get a notification on your phone, we did a banner push using SMS and also push notification with their wallet. It worked out really well. And then we did retargeting on that. And so the people that came to the page, we retarget them with small $1-a-day ads. And this was a really great way to get more engagement, because it was hyper engaged. They'd already engaged with the page, once, so you knew they were excited to take you up on that offer. And then we'd send them to a landing page that would allow them to put their information in again and get more deals and discounts through that landing page opt-in. And then if they wanted to, they could pre-order gift cards at a discounted price, and we gave them an order form, and then we retarget them again to share this with their friends. And that's how this worked. And that's how we were able, this is what it looks like in the back end, that's how we were able to get 11,843% return on ad spend for this restaurant. And that turned out to be 2,158 subscribers. 1,300 people came to the restaurant within 29 days, and the restaurant made $69,756.76 in less than 29 days. Yeah.
Wow.
So the ad spend was $589, and they had an open rate of 99%. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty powerful when you think about it. It's really powerful with that. And that's the beauty of this, is that, if you use it correctly. Now, you're not a baseball field, so build it and they will come is not going to be, that doesn't happen. A lot of people think, oh, well, if you build it on Facebook, you're going to be able to get the clicks. No, you need to go out and talk to people. You need to go out, like, every day. I probably spend a good 5 or 6 hours pitching people. And so I get, and the 80-20 rule, if you've ever read the 80-20 rule by Perry Marshall, you'll get 80% of what you do will only yield 20% of your results. So, 80% of the people that I contact out of 100 are not going to say anything, or they're going to reject me. 20 of those people might be interested somewhat, and then you do an 80-20 again. So you figure, there's, at the end of the day, 1.6 people out of 100 are going to end up taking me up on my offer. And it's not because it's a bad offer. It's because they're not educated, number one. They want something really quickly, number two. And they don't want to work for it, number three. So restaurants, while they're amazing, and I don't frequent restaurants a lot. So I'm not the restaurant goer, which is kind of funny because a lot of people are like, oh, well, what restaurant? I don't go out to restaurants. I always eat at home because I have a special diet. So restaurants, though, in and of themselves, by and large, are they'll argue for the limitations of why they shouldn't do something, but then when they see what happens on the other side, they want that, and that's the hard part, is that you can't build it and they're going to come. You got to be able to engage your customers. People want the conversation anymore. They don't want you to just come in and go, okay, well, we're having a 20% off deal. And you and every other place, so there's nothing new about that. And what we found is the more engaged that we got the customer, the more we got them to keep the conversation going and remind them and give them a reason to engage, the more we got them to not only engage with us, but bring others to engage as well. So it started with just a comment on a post. And what turned out to be, or what was just a comment on a post, turned out to be a conversation that lasted over the matter of 7 days. Now, I don't know about you, but when I look at stats on Facebook and I start to advertise, I'm looking for attention. I'm not looking to sell something right away, because it's a 25 touch minimum online right now with the attention. Like, you're looking at 25 touches. You're looking at 25 times that person has to see you, talk to you, hear you, notice you, recognize you, before they're going to even take any kind of action. And I don't care if it's a 50% off or not. It doesn't matter. It matters that they know who you are. So a lot of people, don't see that it takes that many touches. And how are you going to get them back? So the first touch is not the touch that sells. It's the first touch that allows you to re-engage for more touches, on your offers. So when we did this, we took that into consideration, highly into consideration. I can show you another case study. Actually, I can show you, instead of a case study, I can show you exactly what it looks like and give you that. So let me just go back here. And this is a video that I made. And this video shares with you how this worked through the bot. Now, what you're not seeing on the back end of this is, how do you take the money? In Facebook terms of service, you're not allowed to take money in Facebook without it going through Facebook. So what we've done is we've built on top of ManyChat, and we've been able to, what they call, connect in with webhooks and APIs. And so we use Stripe to check out on this. And we use a third-party SQL database to keep all of this information in for the client. So the client's totally, it's totally transparent to the client. And then we pulled in Google Maps, and we allowed Google Maps to send the location. So now it gives a location, and then they can decide how they want it to be delivered. And they pay right in Facebook. But it's not a payment to Facebook. It's actually a payment to, and I'll play it one more time again, it's actually a payment to their Stripe account. And it's immediately deposited in their Stripe account. So this is different than white label. There's a white label, and I'll go over that in a minute. There's a white label going around right now that you can build API, third party, on Facebook. And that's a really cool white label, depending upon who you go through. There's a couple of different companies right now that are doing it. And I've seen some that are pretty good, and I've seen others that are so-so, you know. But what I like about bots is that they are ubiquitous on everything. They're on the phone, and they're on your tablet, and they're also on your desktop. And so you can really start to get a very decent return on investment with this, you know. So yeah, so that's the bot in the back end.
Wow.
And then
That's
there,
it.
yeah. What questions do you have? Let me know.
You were mentioning engagement. Engagement is what I talk about. A lot of people, some people come online, they want now. Like you said, it takes about 25 touches. You know, some people think, okay, I can get it. Engagement is the biggest part of online social media, Facebook and all that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're right on it. I mean, it's just what it is. How are you willing to help yourself, help your business, take it to the next level? You know, this is just what it's all about. The technology is there, you know. Are you stepping forward to do what you need to do to take your business along with it as things are developing, you know, things are changing? What are you willing to do? I mean, we've seen a few examples. You had also a few examples of how this company have brought back some of their staff. They're fully functioning using the system.
Yeah,
no,
exactly. Yeah. There's actually I have the book that I came out with. I actually came out with a book, and let me see if I can't find that on my machine right now. But the whole idea of this is that when you get online, and I think a lot of times, even now, restaurants are thinking, oh, I'll get online and I'll give them a 20% off coupon and people will take me up on that. That's about the worst thing you could do, because it's so flippant, that says, hey, I really don't care if you come into my restaurant, just come in and buy something right now. And so it's not saying to them, hey, I really want to establish a long-term relationship with you as a customer. It's just saying, come in, buy my stuff. I could care less whether you know, I just don't care, right? Just use my 20% off and then give me a 5-star review. So it's showing that you're, you know, most restaurants, and I see this a lot. There's a guy right here next to me who runs a little market, and he has it's called 5 stars, and it's where you buy something and then you get points. But every time I go to redeem any points, he's like, oh, well, you can only have this size, or you can only do this. So one day I just called him out on it, and I was like, you know, if you don't want to give this out, then you shouldn't have this system. Because if you're going to treat me as a customer who's paid hundreds of dollars in your little store where your markup is thousands of %, and you're telling me that you are having a hard time giving me a 12 ounce instead of a 16 ounce, and like, you know, why are you doing that, right? So it doesn't bode well for him. And of course, I've left him bad reviews, but he doesn't care, you know. Like, there are some people that just, and I see this with a lot of people that are foreign who don't care about what people say about them. They know that they have something, and that people are going to come and buy it because they're in like a grocery, right? So they're in groceries. And so they're going to do that. But, you know, it really is where people are not interested in, they're just not interested in your offer if you're not going to be living up to what the expectations are, you know? And that's the hard part about this, is that you're up against a lot of, there's a lot of people now that are going out of business. And right now, I think, not what I think, it doesn't matter really what I think, but what is happening, and I see it here, over 100,000 people are going to be losing their businesses, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be, it's not going to be pretty. It's just not, you know. We have a lot that's going on, and I think that when you're looking at this many people losing their businesses within the next 90 days, you have a really good space to take those customers and treat them like gold. Because right now, customers are being charged anywhere from 30 to 50% more when they order from a delivery app. So whatever happens after that food or that product leaves your business is none of your concern, right? Because you've just hired a third-party service. But the third-party service can take that food and mark it up again and make all of that profit. There's a 365 billion with a B industry happening right now in delivery. And delivery is the biggest, hands down, the biggest industry to be in right now. If you have a delivery service, if you shop for people, like if you go to the grocery store and you shop for them, you can get paid a lot of money to do this. So, you know, this is where people are not seeing the opportunity, because if you're going to give your customers the best experience ever and they're going to come back to you over and over again, then you're going to be able to keep those customers from going to that third-party app. And the thing is that when you order from third-party, it's not your customer. It's not your customer. It's the customer of the third-party app. So you don't own any of their information. You can't retarget them. You can't remarket to them. You can't send them deals and discounts and coupons, because the only thing you're getting is the money from the third party. You're not getting the name of the customer. You're not getting any of the information from the customer. So whatever happens to that food after they've given you your 20 bucks, and now on a $20 order, it's now up to 32 bucks, and you don't make any of that $12 profit. That's a $12 margin you're not making any money on. Nothing. You'll never see it. And so would it be worth it to you to invest in your business and get something that is yours, that you own, so that when the customer actually comes to your page and orders from you, it's your customer and you're not renting that customer over and over and over again? What happens is right now, Grubhub came out with this thing that said, oh, we're going to not charge any fees. Well, if you look at the fine print, that wasn't the case at all. It was that Grubhub was going to defer the fees. They're going to defer the fees. They're not going to not charge you the fees. They're going to defer them. So this is the thing, is that you're not, like, these restaurants are they're so at their limit that they can't focus on, oh, okay, wait a minute, let me step back for a second and let me think about how am I marketing my business, because I don't own any of these customers. The third party does. I don't own any of that money. The third party does. I'm waiting for the third party to pay me. So basically they just have another job. They have a job that they're paying for. Literally. I mean, they're literally paying to be employed, because now they have the overhead, they have all the costs, they have all the problems with the employees, they got all that. And now they're paying a third-party business who has no interest in any part of their business whatsoever, other than just the money, right? And they're not getting anything from that. So they're paying the third party as well. There was a big sushi restaurant in LA that I believe it was in March that decided, okay, we're not going to go and use these third parties anymore. And here's what happened. They were listed on the third party app as one of the restaurants, and they had never signed up for this. Never. Like, they're like, well, okay, wait a minute, we never signed up for this. So they got in touch with the third party app. They had to have their attorneys write a letter to get their menu off of that app, even though the third party never, ever, ever had they didn't have a written statement from this restaurant. They had nothing about this restaurant that said they could put the menu up there and they could actually advertise it. Nothing. So they finally got off of all the third-party apps and they delivered it themselves. They made $20,000 in the first month extra. Like they had only VIP service, and they decided, okay, we're going to have VIP delivery for our clients only, and they just capitalized on it and crushed it. So right now, delivery is one of the biggest jobs ever. And with all of these people out of work, all of these restaurant people out of work, all of the people that used to do services and can't now because they aren't going to come back to their jobs, right? I mean, that restaurant hired 84% of the people that they had to lay off, okay? But there are still 16% of those people that are not employed. So that's a lot of people. And those people still need jobs, and those people still need work. So I think, that what we're going to see in the next few months are businesses going out of business, not opening up again. They're just not going to reopen because it's going to be too expensive to do so. And then we're also going to see, in the same vein, we're going to see these people who are, they're getting totally raped, so now they're like teetering on, should we close? We're doing so well, but should we close? Like, you could be doing great, but you're just scraping. You're like keeping up with the demand. You're not making any money, so now you're having to hire more people, but your margins still aren't going to cover that cost.
Yeah, that is so. It's unfortunate, and that's what's happened. Money is in the list. Being able to retarget and remarket to your list is priceless. That is the future of your business, and this is the only way you can stay in business. Yeah, that's amazing. Any more you need to find? What is this? Is it average restaurant or any restaurant? I know there is no. It depends on how keen a restaurant owner is in taking their business to the next level and really owning the market, owning your list, and owning the customers, and being able to
throw in a con to that. And yes, you're right. I mean, owning your customer is so important. But here's the thing: is that there's a scale. You use a third-party delivery service, and you get all the free advertising. Okay. Yeah. And so you're getting free advertising, but they're not advertising you. They're advertising 100 other restaurants with you. And so now you have to pay to get premium space. And the more you want that premium space, the more you're going to have to pay. So now you're still paying to get space, and you don't own the customer. So you're paying a third party to give you customers that aren't yours, that you're going to rent over and over and over and over again every single month. If I order from a place 3 times a week, they'll never know. They'll never know who I am. And so I won't get points. I won't get discounts. I won't get treated with respect. I can go, I have no loyalty to them because it doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter at all. And so most people don't really care because they're into it for the convenience. So you have to make yourself convenient. And this is the con for the restaurant, is that they're looking at it like, well, I have to post and I have to advertise, I have to do this, and so it's cheaper for me to do this. Well, it's, we look at it like it's cheaper for you to do this. It's cheaper for you to go to the third party because they can control the advertising and they can get you the client, but they're not your clients. So if I look at your restaurant and there's another restaurant that's cheaper, and I know I'm going to get bumped up for fees, I'm going to go and shop cheap because I'm not going to pay your prices. So inevitably you're losing people because the margin that you would charge to deliver your food versus the margin that these third parties are charging to deliver your food is going to be far less, and you're going to be making that money. So on average, on a $58.49 delivery, the customer is charged an extra $17.55. Okay, so the restaurant never sees that $17. Not even, they don't even know about it. They don't know about it. So Therein lies the rub. And then again, it's another cannibalization, because what's going to happen is, just like Barnes and Noble and Netflix, Netflix took over all of the videos. Barnes and Noble is no longer in business, right, for books. And you have no borders. There's no border books anymore. But what's out there now? Amazon books. So now Amazon has cannibalized the industry and then allowed it to fizzle out, and then came back with brick and mortar with their own bookstore, right? So, and this is what's happening with DoorDash and Grubhub. They're cannibalizing the restaurants and then coming back with standalone brick and mortar restaurants, quote unquote restaurants, where they're hiring or they're letting celebrity chefs rent the kitchen. Okay. So the celebrity chef rents the kitchen, no sit down, nothing like that. They just have their delivery people deliver that food for the, for a few weeks. So now these people that are on Grubhub and DoorDash and everywhere else are getting this incredible food from this top-notch chef, like, Gordon Ramsay or whatever. And they're getting it delivered by Grubhub and by DoorDash. So where does that leave you as the restaurant? It doesn't. It just doesn't. You can't compete with that. There's just no way. So the whole idea is that when you think about it and you're like, okay, I need to get more customers, right, to buy my stuff. How are you going to do that when you're competing with a third-party app that's not interested in making you money? They're just not. So regardless of what their little salespeople say, they could care less about you. So you're really selling your soul to the devil, if you will. I mean, I don't mean to get like religious on it, because that's not the whole point, but the idea is that you're really selling yourself out, and you're just cannibalizing your business by being on these third parties. That's what you're doing. And basically you're just allowing the other restaurants to overtake you, because they're the ones that are going to be able to capitalize. Because, smart restaurant owners are going to say, okay, if I'm going to be on here, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to strike a deal, and they have enough clout behind them that they will strike that deal. But just like Nike took off from Amazon. They took all of their stuff off of Amazon. They don't want to be on Amazon anymore. They don't want to be on Zappos anymore. Nothing. And so they're solely selling on their sites. When they did that, when they took their stuff off of Amazon and off of Zappos, their margins went up 37%. So a lot of people, and that's because they obviously had it, they had a very strategic way that they were doing this, but there is a strategy that these restaurants can use that will allow them to recoup their losses. Yeah, you're going to have losses if you take yourself off of these third-party apps, for sure. But you've got to have something strategically in place if you're going to stay in this for the long haul. And if you are, then you need your own sales funnel. You need your own CRM. You need to be able to have somebody who's going to post for you every day. You need to have a recipe book that you can hand out for free. You need to have a lead magnet that's going to be able to get people involved in your business. You need to have videos and lives and things like that. Yeah, you need to do it. If you don't care, and if it's just for the cash, then, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. No judgment. But it's for those people who are serious about their restaurant and say, hey, I want to be, I'm close to, even if I reopen, I have such a cool product that people like that I'm close to opening up a second or a third, venue. And I know that people will buy from me because I've seen it happen. So those are the restaurants that are actually going to thrive with messenger marketing, because since this whole thing has happened with this pandemic, as of September of 2019, there were over 10 billion messages sent every single month on Messenger between customers and businesses. Now there are over 15 billion messages sent every month, and that's not even a half a year. Like, that's not even within 6 months. And those are sent between businesses and customers. And so if you think that having just like some random menu where like, oh, ask us a question, is going to help. No, it's not. When you have something that's going to engage them with a conversation, that's going to allow them to converse with you and automate it and make it so that it's smart enough to say, okay, well, put in the keyword food, and then it comes back with, you know, all kinds of things, or it really makes a difference to that customer experience. Because if I'm looking on my phone for help, or for, you know, for an answer, I don't want to get on the phone and talk to you. I just want an answer, you know? So the sooner you can get your customers to start engaging that way, the easier it's going to be. And for those people who are like, oh, well, everybody calls me, or everybody, you know, you can't scale one person. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be able to do it. So this is a play for those restaurants and those restaurant owners who are serious about scaling. They're serious about, they're in the space of like, okay, I can afford to take this hit, but I know I have an amazing product because I have so many customers, but I'm not grabbing all of their information. If I grab their information in 6 months, I can retarget to them and I can start that process, and then I can be able to start growing. And that's how, I mean, I've seen it happen. I'll give you a really good example. Here's a wedding venue. Let me share my screen. I'll share the wedding venue with you, and you can see exactly exactly what happened. Oh, I do not have it up. What's wrong with me? Why do I not have it up? Okay, that's interesting. Did I just lose it? I just had it. Amazing what happens when you click your screen. When you click your screen, it's amazing what happens. Yeah. Huh. Okay. So let me just go back into this and let me find the deck I was using.
So guys, while we're getting that, it's all up to you. It's about owning your restaurant and really being independent, being able to work independently and get to where you need to be, building your business. And a lot of you guys have had this restaurant for many years. And some people right now, this is all they know. All they know is preparing for restaurant. What would you do if you can, you know, survive without, you know, depending on another application? Build your own. That is just it. Did you find it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Some restaurants are family owned for many years. What can you do? You know, that's all they know. Imagine.
Well, that's another thing. Yeah, is that, are they, you know, if they are family owned, my grandmother owned started a restaurant like 50 years ago, and she had, I think, 5 or 6 restaurants in the Denver area that she owned when, you know, when they finally sold everything off. But you know, one of the things that she did, and this was early before retargeting was ever a thing, what she did was she would send out direct mail to people and she would invite them back, okay, and give them a direct, she'd literally mail out, handwrite and mail out, hey, come back to the restaurant, I have your, you know, and she'd take everybody's information. And then she finally had somebody doing this for her. She was like the first in remarketing for literally writing and sending out posts. But that's what happened with this event venue, with this wedding event venue. So this was geo-targeting that lasted, it was actually really, really this one was a really good case study. And this, I just helped a friend of mine with this, but the revenues on this within the first 30 days was $17,000. That was just deposits. And then there was $159,000 in weddings booked in the first 90 days. And the way we did that was they geo-targeted on the ads. Okay, so these are the ads. These are the link clicks to the ads. But what they did was they geo-targeted this down to such a really small area, and they allowed the customer to basically create their own wedding, okay? And the way they did that was with a download. Like, here's how you create your own wedding. Here's what you have to choose from. Do you have any other ideas? Do you have like a dream board or whatever? And they would allow them to share that. And when they shared it, it gave the wedding venue a heck of a lot more ideas for this person who was getting married, right? So one of the things that is pretty key in this is when you start to do geo-targeting and advertising, okay? And you start really getting to the point where you're just like, I know exactly what's going on with my customer and I'm able to give them exactly what they want when they want it, then you're going to be able to get these kind of results. I mean, for $2,100, they made $159,000. That is 17,000. I think it was 17,000 in ROI. I mean, that's crazy. So when you really think about this and you put it to work, how much are you willing to spend? How much are you willing to spend to get that? You know what I mean? Like, is it worth it to you to invest in your business $1,000 so that you're able to get, 159,000 in revenues? Or is it worth it for you to invest, to have somebody come in and really give you an idea of saying, okay, beyond this bot, what is the conversation you're having? Like right now I'm working with copy on that. And I've always written my own copy for it, but I've written some really great copy for these bots, and it's helping a lot of businesses because the copy is engaging. If I write you a note and it's engaging you, you're going to want to engage back with me. If I write you a note and say, I got 20% off, just buy it now. Yay. Not engaging, not interested. So not interested, and it's kind of like, when you go get your hair done or your nails done or whatever, I see a lot of these salons, and those kind of people aren't going to go out of business anytime soon because everybody gets their nails done, everybody gets their hair done. But there's a lot of the places that people are now saying, you know what, I'm doing my own and I'm good with it. And I don't have to go back every week anymore. I've learned how to do my own nails. I've learned how to do my own hair. I've learned how to do my own lashes. And so now you've got a next industry that's coming up of how-tos, how to do it. And so this is the industry that people don't see because it's a sleeper, And so a lot of restaurants, like there's a restaurant that's really, really good right by me that everybody wants to go to. What they did while this whole thing was happening, brilliant. They cut everything in half price of everything. Okay. So 50% off of everything. And then they would put it together for you and they'd show you how to make it. They kept all their customers. In fact, they just opened up Friday. There was a line, do not kid you, a line of cars waiting to park. No joke. Because why? Because they had taken the time to, and they already have their own, I mean, I've pitched them so many times. They own like 23 big restaurants all over the country, but they have their own thing going and they do really well with it. But they have a full-time and a half. I think they actually have 3 people working on their social. They've got, 24/7 people answering questions. So it was, they didn't do it automated, but when you consider they're paying $60,000 for each person to sit there and do social media, that's $180,000 a year. Do you have that to invest? I mean, what are you going to invest? Are you going to invest $180,000 a year and then pay the salaries and all of the Social Security and all the taxes on those people, and then also have to give them, days off and everything else? Or are you going to invest a couple grand and be able to do this yourself? There's a lot of ways to really get yourself going online. But what I see is lazy, and I see is it really takes advantage of the customer. And why customers like Uber and they want to go to DoorDash and they want to go to Uber Eats? Because of the experience. So if you don't want to create an experience for the customer, then you're not going to create a business, because that's what it's coming down to. Customer experience and customer acquisition is all about how is the long-term value, the LTV of that customer going to be sustained throughout the entire relationship? And are you going to be able to continually create more value for that customer?
That's a big question, guys. That is it. You know, even the video I did earlier, I said, come online with an intent. Don't just throw things out there and not plan to build a long-term relationship with your client, with your customers. These are just, you know, one of those things with that. People don't understand social media, but they're there. They have accounts. They're just doing whatever. It doesn't work. It doesn't help you that way. Now they go back. They say, oh, it doesn't work. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Oh, forget that. Just because they're not doing it the right way. Guys, if you're listening to this, you've heard Nicole, you need to do something to get something. It doesn't just come. Look at the scenario. They pay you $60,000 for staff, and this is something that you can do and earn it, and it's yours. You know, continuously generating revenues. It's not one-time revenue, ongoing, continuous.
Yeah.
If you have your restaurant for 10 years, 15 years, I'm sure you have planned to continue and leave it to your family. It becomes your family business. I mean, the steps you take now will just pave the future for you. You have the choice: either shut your door and forget about it, go and trade for a new career, or just find something that you can do. This is just a way to help you get to where you need to go. The future, this is it. And we don't know what's going to happen when all this is over. But what do you have? A lot of restaurants, this is another thing too. They don't have the skills. A lot of people don't know how to or where to start. What would you say to those people now that don't know? They don't have a Facebook account. They don't have a Facebook page. All they know is just going and preparing their food and people coming to eat it and enjoy it. What would be the step those kind of restaurants can take right now?
Well, they need a Facebook page to start, or an Instagram page. They need to get good at the one thing that they're good at. You know, I think there's a lot of room to not be. I think a lot of these restaurants, you know, oh, I have kids that do it, or I have this that does it. It's, for me, when I hear that, I just mute it out, and I'm like, okay, I'm done, because, you know, I've taken a good portion of my life to dedicate to online marketing, and I've spent, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on my education for it. And I've also spent hundreds of thousands of hours on it, believe it or not. But I think that there is a return on investment that is minimal when you hire into your family, having your kids do it or whatever. And then there's a maximum investment when you can really step back and say, I'm not good at this, and I'm going to hire somebody who is good at this to do this for me, because I don't want the stress of it and I don't want to deal with it. It's just like me cooking. I don't want the stress of it and I don't want to deal with it. But, and so I make things that are, you know, that for me are going to be really simple, you know, and I know how to make them. I can use the scissors to cut my salad, and like, I'm good. You know what I mean? So I do not try to pretend that I'm a chef. I just make what I know that I want to eat, right? So it's same thing with the restaurant. If you, and there's a lot of people that are just having cabin fever. They can't wait to get out and go eat. They just want to get out, you know? So there's a big opportunity here, but in the same vein, I think that you're going to see, beyond the people that are going to close anyway, you're going to see a lot of cannibalism in the restaurant industry, because they're not going to have the right tools to use to compete with what's coming up here. They're just not, they don't have it. And this pandemic has only like catapulted Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, the rest of them. It's just like their stock is just taken off. They're just like, oh, hell yeah, we're all over this, you know? So you don't have the way to compete with that unless you start competing and engaging your customers in a way that they aren't. And so you got to take your customers back, and that's going to take some time. It's going to take some money. It's going to take an investment. It's going to take you knowing what you're doing. And if you don't, hiring somebody who does, you know.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. I don't want to keep Nicole. She's so busy. I don't want to thank you for coming today. We can go on all day and discussing this. So what is the process? I've sent a message that if you know a restaurant that you care so much about and you want them to get on the right track with these tools, send me a message and you get 45 minutes of my time where I'll take, review audit your online presence right now. And that's for doing that. And we'll put them through the process. There's an intake process where Nicole will review what they're currently doing, what they need, and we'll take it from there. I understand, right, Nicole? Right?
Sure. I mean, once you decide, they can contact you and find out more about it. You know all about this. You're the expert on that part, right? You're definitely a big expert on that. So yeah, they can contact you and for sure, if you need my help, of course you can contact me too. But I think, you know this industry pretty well. I would say that you're one of the better you're one of the better social media advocates for this industry.
Amen. Yes, guys. So send your information, refer somebody that you know. Let's help the business. Let's help them scale up. Let's help them do what they need to do to earn their industry, to own their market, to own what they do. This is what it is today. If you don't do anything, nothing will happen. It's simple. It's either you end up slaving yourself, paying for a job, or get on track and take control of what you need to do to take your business, your restaurant to the next level. With this application, I believe other companies can use it as well. Right now we're focusing on restaurants. I know I just started doing my, chatbots. And for what we're doing together, just for restaurants. Other companies can use it for consulting services as well, for, other products as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But we're focusing on restaurant right now because you guys are losing out so much. And most of them have the inventory already. You just have to fill in the order and own your list so that your grandmother she's brilliant. She had the clue. She know what to do. And you can see how she was able to rescale the customers, bring them back. Even if it's just handwritten note is special. Those are organic.
Yeah. Her customers stayed with her for years, 40, 50 years. Family generations stayed with her. She had people have their weddings and their anniversaries over and over at her restaurants every year because she always reached out. And so regardless of whether it was online, which it wasn't because, she wasn't that savvy at the time, there wasn't online to do, but this is where, take from that and start doing it.
It's a personal approach, personal touch. You can, no matter how much online, there still have to be that conversational piece. That's the way you write something and people respond to it. That's the way you come to people say, oh, forget it, I don't want to hear this, So it's all in the techniques of content and writing, That's what I preach all the time, guys. Get on with it. Let us know. Hopefully, if Nicole has a minute or two, we'll come back again to give you some updates and show you a few more samples of what we've done so far. So thank you, guys. Thank you all for watching. Is there anything else you want to add, Nicole?
No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is a pleasure, and I appreciate what you're doing. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Guys, stay in touch. Get more information. Get your question answered. That's why we're here, to help you. We got the tools. We got the skills. We know what you need to do to get where you need to go. And that's all we're going to offer you. For that, we'll talk to you again, and we'll look forward to bringing you more on this topic. All the best, guys. Thank you all for watching, and God bless you all. Thank you.